Hey guys, it's Mr. Terraria, and today we're going to be doing another modding tutorial. Now, I know it's been a while, however, recently I've got back into Terraria and I've got back into modding, so I decided let's make another one. I know somebody left a comment saying they wanted a yo-yo tutorial, how to make a yo-yo, so we're going to get on with that today. Now, there's this other channel on YouTube who does modding tutorials called, Alon37 or something. Now, they have a good channel, they do a lot of tutorials, except it's not a tutorial that, I like it when they explain what's going on. That's just a copy and paste, download the files from the description, and there's no explanation of what it actually means. I will be leaving download links to the files, or modified versions of the files, in the description. However, I'm going to explain in this video what they actually do, and I'm going to leave comments in the code saying what they do. And for anybody who doesn't know, 2 forward slashes in C# means like a comment, and it doesn't read it. So, example mod, you may know, is made by Blue Magic. Blue Magic, is that his name? The creator of Tmod Loader. And then Blood Magic is a mod I'm working on with another person. And then Zelanium is the mod we're programming currently, and is what in the future I'd like to release on the forums. I've actually got quite a few things done. I'm starting to mess around with world generation, so there may be tutorials for that in the future. Tiles, projectiles will come do today, NPCs, and items. And I like to sort everything out with neat folders properly. Now, as you can see, I've already got a lot of yo-yos here. This is because I'm having a yo-yo system where you combine details and a base to make a full yo-yo. For example, this stands for a tin base with copper details, or a tin base with tin details, copper base with tin details, and today we're going to be making the copper base with copper details. So we're just going to get straight in. We're going to create, that's out of the screen. We're going to create a new text document. We're going to call it Coco Yoyo, and then we're going to change the file extension to CS. Click yes. So as you can see here, this is all fine. I've already got the texture for it here, if I just quickly open this up. As you can see here, I've already got it. I sprited it earlier using a yo-yo template. I just recolored it and modified the middle bit a bit, and I think it looks quite good actually. That's that item, and not the actual projectile it shoots out. So we're just gonna open up here. Right, we're back. Sorry, I just had to get something. I had to get a notepad in the frame. It had opened the right side of the screen for some reason. Actually, no, it's because I normally have something up there for reference when I'm coding. So I must have had that as the last thing for Notepad open. So we're going to start with the usual, if anybody can remember, it's been that long. Using Terraria, using system, using Terraria.id with a capital I and a capital D, using Microsoft. .xna, that's not capitals, framework, yeah, there you go. Make sure you put semicolons on all the end of these. Using system.diagnostics, and then finally using Terraria.modloader. Now, all of these aren't necessary, at least for this, but I normally like to put most of them in all of them, just to be sure. Because, it's better to be safe than sorry. So we're going to start with namespace, and then my mod's called Zelanium. This is the mod folder name. Now, because I like to sort things neatly in folders, I have to do a lot of dots here. So I'm going to type .items, .weapons, and .melee, because that's the folders I have this file in. That is where the file is located. It's just out of view of the recorder, but at the top it says Zelanium items weapons melee, then cocoyoyo.cs. So you're gonna need that. We're gonna open some curly brackets, whatever you wanna call them. Public class, and we're gonna call it cocoyoyo for copper. And this is a mod item. I'm gonna open up some more curly brackets. Public override void set defaults. And this basically, it's pretty self-explanatory. It sets the defaults, like the default stats for the item. And all of them in here start with item dot. So we're first going to start with clone defaults. Now this clones the defaults of an already existing item in Terraria. And this is really useful because we're going to be copying a wood yo-yo, because obviously copper's not that good, it's only going to be a little bit stronger. We can then modify these defaults by just writing in our own stats above that. So we're going to call this a copper yo-yo. We're going to give it an item.damage value, which is the damage, funnily enough, of 12. Item.value of 550,000, sorry, that's 500,000. Item.rare equals 0, so it will burn in lava. Item.tooltip. Now you can actually give 2 tooltips, so we actually are as well. So you can do item.tooltip and then item.tooltip. Make sure the T in tip is capital as well. 2, and that's it. So we're going to have equals body copper, because we're going to have this copper, like the body and detail system. And then here we're going to have details copper as well. Then we're going to have item.knockback equals 1. Now, I'm not too sure about the knockback, rarity and value settings, what they exactly are, so I'd say just experiment with them and mess around and see what's best for you. We're going to have item.channel equals true. Item.useStyle equals 5, which does apply, like, the use styles apply to quite a few different types of weapons, but they can then be modified to be specific ones within that use style. So 5 does have yo-yos under its category, but also has a few other things. Item.useAnimation as the throwing animation, 25, and item.useTime, it's also 25. Finally, in default, we're going to have item.shoot equals mod.projectile type, and you'll see here it's going to be called Coco Yo-Yo Proj for projectile. Then you'll also see that in a second. So we're just gonna, that didn't work how I was explaining it to. That's done. Set default. Now we're gonna add a crafting recipe as well, still in the public class, just after the public override set default. So public override void add recipes, and then we're gonna have open some curly brackets, mod recipe, then recipe equals new mod recipe, and then in brackets mod. Ooh. There you go. And we're going to have recipe.addIngredient, which is pretty self-explanatory. This adds a new ingredient. Null, and then we're going to have copper YB, which stands for yo-yo base. And I've already implemented this item. If you don't know how to implement a basic item, watch one of the first tutorials. I think it's the second one, where I'll show you how to make a basic item for crafting without any statistics really. So that's fine. We're going to have another one, recipe.addIngredient. I've tried to think what that bracket's for and why there's just a random bracket. Add ingredient, then we're going to have null. Then we're going to have copper yo-yo details, YD. And also going to have one of those. And then recipe.set. Ooh. Yeah, set result. This. And then finally recipe.add recipe. And that finishes the thing up. So that is the entire Coco Yo-Yo project file. So that's fine. Right, now that's done, we are going to go back to our... Right, so we're going to create projectiles folder if you already haven't. then Yoyos, and then as you can see here, we've got all the files from the Yoyos. We've even got the Pokemon Yo-Yo projectile, which I did fix up, by the way. So we've got Coco, Yo-Yo, Proj already made here. Now the projectile sprites for Yo-Yos are just like circular discs, and I've had a little bit of like a lighter shade up here. So you can see here on this, and this is lighter than the rest of it. Pretty simple sprite. It's tiny as well, so there's not much failure you can do, like failure you can have there. So we're gonna create a new text document. I'm gonna call it Coco Yo-Yo Proj. Rename the extension to CS. Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna open it up here. Coco Yo-Yo Proj. So we're gonna start with using system, using Microsoft. Is it there? No, it's not. Microsoft.xna.framework. Using Microsoft.xna.framework.graphics. And then using Terraria. Using Terraria.id, remember in capitals again, and then using Terraria.modloader. Okay. So now starting with the namespace, which is going to be Zelanium, because that's the name of the mod, the projectiles folder, and then the Yo-Yos folder, because that's where our file is located. Open up some curly brackets, public class Coco Yo-Yo Proj, because that's what the file's called. This is a mod projectile. Open up some more curly brackets. And we've got public override void, set defaults. Go. Open up some more curly brackets. Now here we go. We've got projectile dot clone default, because again we're going to clone the default of the wooden yo-yo. This time it's projectile ID dot wood yo-yo, not item ID, because we want to clone the projectile, not the items default. We're going to modify this a little bit though. We're going to rename the actual projectile to copper yo-yo, so if your character like can hover over it somehow, or well, I guess they can see it, then it's going to say copper yo-yo instead of wood yo-yo. There you go. Projectile dot penetrate, which is how many enemies it can go through before it like dies, I guess. We're going to have 5. And then finally projectile dot width and projectile dot height, which is both going to be 22, because that's how big our file is, and that's how big we want the sprite to be. By file I meant the PNG. If we'll go back to here, you can see it's 22 by 22. So if you make a bigger one, then just make sure to change that. That's all fine. We define the damage in the actual item. So we are ready to start it up. Right, so now we're in Terraria. We're going to go into mod sources, and then you can see we've got 3 mods from the mod source folder in here. We're going to build and reload Zelanium. Now here we go. I was actually hoping there'd be an error, because you know it's good to show fixing errors. So here in the projectile file, on the first line, on the 7th bit, I don't know what you actually call that, type on namespace system. So I misspelt system. The best thing is if you just minimize this, go into the projectile file, system, there you go, and then you go back into it, it actually like refreshes straight away, so we can try that again. 14, so expecting a semicolon on line 1439, so just flick back into here, line 14, oh there we go, you see we've missed one off the end. Simple mistakes like that you've always got to take into consideration, but it's easily fixed. Again, another one missing out a semicolon. Seems to be a bad habit of mine. There we go. Where was that? Line, there we go, line 20. Just going to do a quick check for all of them now. There we go, gosh. 21. Terraria item does not contain a definition of knockback. Oh, right, this is a simple thing. Most second words of like a two-worded item dot or like whatever dot has a capital letter, so it's actually a capital B. That's another silly mistake. But as you can see, the mod's built fine. I've already got a Zelenium tester world. Just going to go in here. Now, ignoring that. So we're going to go to an anvil. Now, if you remember, I set the crafting recipe to be a base and details, which are made out of copper. I've already got copper here, because I just set this basic thing where you can craft any metal with one wood. So as you can see here, copper yo-yo base and copper yo-yo details. Now, using two tooltips, you can see I've made it so it says 10 base damage, 2 base damage, and no abilities, because in the future, I want to be able to craft, like, abilities onto those details and bases to make them more powerful, so that'd be cool. Then, as you can see here, copper yo-yo, 12 melee damage, 4% critical strike chance, fast speed, extremely weak knockback, body copper, details copper, everything we said. It's broken. I'm just going to get this godly one back. And then if we go, you can see here, it shoots the projectile to the mouse, exactly where we said. It seems pretty like it's pretty similar to a wooden one. A little bit better, obviously, because we increased the damage. And these floaters are actually an enemy I created automatically, which I've created before, sorry, in the mod. If you want a tutorial on that, please tell me in the comments, and I'll make a tutorial on NPC next. If you want a tutorial on a yo-yo workbench or any kind of custom crafting table thing, please tell me for that in the comments. Or if there's anything else, nothing too far-fetched like a boss, because I'm not there yet, then please tell me in the comments below, and I will be sure to try and tailor the next video to either the first comment or like if there's more than one. If not, then I'll just choose something. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been informative. The download links for the files will be in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Mr. Terraria, and have a nice day.